Good morning, day 353. Oh my goodness. Revelation chapter 7, right? 7 or 8. Shoot. What did I read this morning? Where there, I think I'm getting confused because they opened the seventh seal, the Lamb did. And I think that's chapter 8. Look at this. This is what I know. This is what has got me so distracted. Look at this beautiful sunrise. Oh my goodness. And it's 18 degrees at the time of this. It's December 19th, 2022, and it's 18 degrees. And we're reading Revelation chapter 8, I believe. Let's see, I got all kinds of numbers and things running through my mind. So anyway, oh wow, look. Oh, you guys can't see it. Oh yeah, you can a little bit. The sliver of the moon still visible. Beautiful. Just all the pinks and blues and purples and oranges. Wow. And the lake is like a mirror. Okay. So I've got today titled Natural Consequences and Your Attitude. Like, how did you get that from Revelation? Like that, when I sit down and when I read some of this stuff, I'm like, okay, Lord, I have no idea. Like, this is some crazy stuff. We've got the vision continuing. The Lamb opens the seventh seal, and then there's just silence for like 30 minutes, they said. And so it probably felt like a long, long time for those experiences, especially for John to even make a point of it, like just silence. And then the angels got busy. There was 7 angels. There's 7 angels, and then there's an 8th angel that even comes in, and he mixes the prayers of all the people are mixed in a bowl with incense, and then it just is sent up to God. And then they put fire in the bowl, and then they dump it out on earth, and then there's lightning and an earthquake. And then the first 4 angels blow trumpets, and then things start happening in the world. And it's by 1/3. So we have 4 episodes of 1/3. So we have 4 thirds happening where the first one is like trees and vegetation, all is wiped out, 1/3 on the earth. And then there is the sea, 1/3 of sea life. The water turns red, and 1/3 of sea life is destroyed. Then there's a star called bitterness that is sent down, and it poisons the water. So people drinking the water, 1/3, are affected. And then there is darkness. The not only the sun, but the night, there's just darkness all the time. The sun and the moon are affected. So there's darkness. So believe it or not, images of the Wizard of Oz started to come to my mind. I don't know that I'm really going to talk about that today, but maybe we'll let that flesh out and sort itself out. But what did start to come to me was humans and how we have, before we face ourselves in the mirror, don't we sort of have that internal knowing of like being up, what creek without a paddle, and we're the ones that got in that boat, and and we got ourselves into this, and we have sort of that internal period of like silence of whether or not we're going to, how we're going to deal with it. and it washes over us, like the reality of the natural consequences that we've brought into our own lives. Just natural consequences. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Maybe you did some bad things. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it's other people that did things. Just things happen in life. But then it's how we deal with them that matters. And we've got choices. And a lot of us know it. But if we abdicate those choices, or we get lazy with them, or we kick the can down the road, we procrastinate, we decide to just keep going with whatever flow we're in. I wanted to say something. I'm having some curse words wanting to come out. Back to that creek that we might be in. we're just, maybe it'll get better. We kind of roll the dice. We do some internal, maybe negotiating. But we can either let the natural consequences kind of refine us. This is where humility comes in. Like what you do in that space, and when you look in the mirror, if you allow humility to come in, then you're going to go through a natural, like it might be bitter. It's bitter to swallow this about yourself. But that, you've heard me talk about that a lot, about that. Like humble pie, it tastes bitter, but you can learn to like the taste of it, and it can be refining. It gets away. You can let it detox you and refine you and get rid and burn off some of the dead wood. But along with that, sometimes too also comes a period of darkness or a little bit of depression, like, oh, I did this. How am I going to get out? The end of this chapter, this interesting little chapter, the final vision is an eagle soaring through the air, going terror, terror, terror. So again, 3. So there's 3 angels left. So the next 3 are going to come and probably cause some more destruction. And as I was even thinking about this, I think this is going to be a warning about our attitude. If we don't choose humility, and there are a lot of people that don't, because the ego is that voice that's soaring, going, terror, terror, terror. It does not, it yells loud warnings. And if we don't heed them, some of us decide, and we don't allow humility to come in, and pride takes over, we double down, and we can cause our own demise, and we can even take other people down with us, because we don't live in a vacuum. And if those people are not doing their own inner work, it's just like a chain reaction. And you can take, this is how we can get not only ourselves into trouble, but whole populations into trouble, because we are connected, we are pack animals, and group think can even happen. And then you've got even new human beings that are being raised in these group mentalities, and so on. So you get generational blessings or curses. But a lot of it is our own choice. And that moment, even when we're lifting up our prayers up to God, and even if it seems like we get destruction rain down on us. So a lot of us, we lift our prayers up to God and we're like, treat him like a genie in a bottle, like, please take this away from me. And part of how he might do that is to let you suffer your own natural consequences. And he will stir in your spirit and say, wake up, wake up. And part of that waking up process is looking around and going, oh, I did this. And then that's bitter. You've got to cut away the dead wood. You've got to go through the darkness. You've got to let the bitterness detox you, or you poison you. So those are the 2 ways, we go through these stages And that bitterness can either poison you and make you want to even be more of a victim and rebel, or it's your choice how you handle it, your attitude. Are you going to be humble and be refined by God and let your personality fall away and become who you're truly supposed to be? Or are you going to double down with the ego and fear and then further cause your own demise and potentially, more around you? When we shed the ego and do the inner work and we humble ourselves, we actually, interestingly enough, not only do we rise up and lift ourselves up, but we can do that with people around us. We can start to heal people because that's of love, versus if we listen to the voice of terror and fear, we can really go down a dark path and double down. That's what our ego is telling us it wants to do. And people that don't humble themselves, pride comes before the fall, right? Anyway, look at me. I'm getting all natural like makeup. I'm getting the redness from the cold air for those of you on video. Look at this. Natural blush. And even looks like a little bit of lipstick because I'm getting all pink and flushed. That's my body sending blood, as protection. Isn't that really cool how God designs us to be able to adapt to our surroundings and send resources to parts of our body that need it to help us endure whatever we're going through? If we can even relax and get quiet, there's a metaphor right there, even with this chapter. If we can relax and get quiet, we can be grateful. That's the other, with humbleness comes gratitude, even for natural consequences, like how God designed it all. And when we get in proper alignment with God and let him be on the throne over us, that was the other thing that came to my mind with 4/3 is a greater number that's over the lower, with the first four angels coming out, 4/3. But when we allow it to be in the right order and we humble ourselves in gratitude and get ourselves off the throne and our egos off the throne, we might be the ones. God never causes complete destruction. We do that. His mercies are new. We can submit to his natural consequences and his ways, or we can double down and cause our own destruction. All right, well, that's how it spoke to me this morning. And maybe we'll see if the Wizard of Oz and the analogy of that, how that maybe takes shape. All right, talk to you later.